the way it started is when we started to launch companies on B2B, they came to us and said, hey, Oro, listen, yeah, we are mainly B2B, but 20% of our revenue coming from B2C. Or we're selling to B2B, but the businesses that we sell to are small businesses and they behave sometimes like B2C. So we started to add these features, like coupon, like upsell, cross-sell, different type of kind of things features that you see in the B2C space. We're adding more in 4.1 that coming up in January, and this is more around the capabilities of the CMS, right? Publishing content, how you publish content, the type of content that you publish. And this is how we started with the kind of B2C. And yes, for us, we see B2C as a subset of B2B. We see B2B as kind of the more complex, and B2C as a subset of this. So it's easy to go from B2B to B2C. Going from B2C to B2B, it's very, very hard. Yeah. One thing is that we see is, although B2B is bigger, B2B companies are about 7-8 years behind B2C as far as technology adoption. Right? Many companies that we go to, they don't have a website. They don't have anything that it's almost automated. Everything is manual, but they're getting there. It's more and more and more that really want to have a website. They understand that if they will not, they lose to their competition. So this is one thing that we see, and it's major difference because when it comes to the sales cycle, they expect us and the partners that we bring to the table to be very, very consultative. They want us and the partner to teach them, to tell them what are the right things to do. Now, not all of them are like this. Some of them are sophisticated, but many, many of them are not. And they're looking for help, for somebody to help them, to show them what to do, to guide them through the process of this type of a project. And this leads to another point that usually, not usually, all the time, the sales cycle is much longer, right? It takes more time to sell, the process is longer, but the projects are bigger, right? And the projects are bigger and the license deals are larger. Usually a customer sign a 3-year deal. They don't sign a 1-year deal because it doesn't mean anything to them. Because they think, okay, I sign a 1-year deal until I do all the process and launch. It's kind of 8-10 months. What's left, right? So they tend to. The commitment is much longer, and if you do your job right, they are loyal. They'll stay with you, right? So these are some of them kind of differences that I see in the B2B.
That in B2C you're very front-end focused, so more on the front end, on the web store, on the customer experience. But a big difference is in B2B is you have two sides. You have the buyers on one side that are using your front end, but you also have the sellers, the salespeople, the sales team that actually need to use the application as well. So investing in both the back end and the front end is something that is very unique to what we do. A lot of the B2C application, like I said, the admin is very basic, allows you to manage catalogs, allows you to do some maybe order management to some extent, maybe some PIM work, but very basic and not built to extend many, many users. Our backend is built on top of our CRM, which is built for tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of users in the backend. So we really have the front end and the backend piece. And then just going into some of the architecture of what we learned, big differences in B2C and B2B. So first of all, the size of your catalog, right? In B2B companies, we can see hundreds of thousands, even millions of SKUs, products in the catalog. In B2C, it tends to be a bit smaller on average. I'm not saying that there are not big ones, but sometimes it's a bit smaller. So the way we scale that, the way we handle pricing with price books and not having price as part of the attributes of product is a big, big difference to the architecture. And it sounds very basic, but it's not. I mean, to build this, you need to build it from the grounds up, not have it as an extension on top of what most B2C applications do. I think that's a big differentiator between B2C and B2B. In B2C, we're very geared towards servicing the lowest common denominator. We don't know if it can be grandparents or a kid that's using your website to buy something they want. And we want them in and out as fast as possible, the most intuitive ways, the less clicks the possible, and focus on higher average order amount and get them in and out, like I said, as quick as possible. And another big point is that most of B2C buyers are one-time buyers. You not always see them coming back to buy from the same online store. But in B2B, it's a completely different world. First of all, we service different roles. People that have different roles in a company that's buying from your website might use the website in a different way or need different features to interact with the website. They're using it as a tool for them to actually do their work. If they're buyers and they want to use your website, it has to be efficient for them to find what they're looking for, do the research they need, request the quotes, and it has to be geared towards that. But it's not only on getting them in and out as fast as possible. It needs to be intuitive and efficient, but it has to do what they're looking to do. And reuse it often and spend time in that, a few hours a week, if not a few hours a day, on your website. So we really need to build for that user experience. And again, what we created is the workflow engine that we use for the backend, but we also implemented that for the front end. So we can really gear a specific customer experience for a specific user, for a specific company, and have different user experience depending on who's logging in and using the website.